Warm greetings from the high 10. It is Everyday Shenanigans. Yes, the queen is up. The witching hours after 4 a.m. I decided to go live late. I just got in a little while ago and I decided to bring you said information. People have been pondering where Brian Laundrie is. Some people think he has been in the reserve. Some people may think he's in North Carolina. Some have said he went back out west to the said location where he and Miss Petito were. I do not think he is in the Pacific Northwest. It would make no sense to go back out there. I do not think that he is. Hello, darling. How are you? I do not think that he is in the reserve. Perhaps he was there briefly, but I don't have any verifications that he was even in the reserve. I think the reason why law officials have not found Brian Laundrie, it is because he is with someone. He is with family or friends. I have said information from someone who was once on the run. I'm going to bring you that said commentary. And who knows better the mind of a criminal than a criminal? And that is the whole purpose of thinking like a criminal. See, really, one can't think like a criminal if he or she has never broken the law. Stay woke. You can watch all the TV you want. You can watch all the news you want, fictional programs, TV series, books, listen to people talk. But if you have never lived a life of doing wrong, you will never know how to do wrong. And as I said, who better to tell you about doing wrong than someone who has done wrong? Hello, everybody in the chat. Brian Laundrie is in the reserve. He isn't in North Carolina. He is comfortable with somebody else. And this came to me the other day when someone called in on the panel and a male was talking. And many of you listened to this guy speak, and some of you thought perhaps it was Brian Laundrie. I don't know what he sounds like. I don't know his voice. I don't have any commentary to match Brian Laundrie's voice. But this person to me seemed very adamant that Brian Laundrie is innocent, that Gabby Petito is the cause of him killing her. And that told me a lot in that conversation. And when I was listening to this person speak, I heard a dog barking in the background. And the first thing I thought was, is this Brian Laundrie, or is Brian Laundrie staying with this person? And I have not dwelled on that, but this person bothered me. The idea of a man who doesn't know another man. You will ride or die with a person you don't know anything about, and knowing logically he killed that girl, and you would say that she provoked him, and you think it's okay for him to be on the run from an alleged provoked situation, told me a lot about who you are. And it led me to think, perhaps I was talking to Brian Laundrie, or perhaps I'm talking to someone who is aiding Brian Laundrie. Nonetheless, Brian Laundrie is somewhere very comfortable with Wi-Fi, hot water, a pillow, a bed, covers, even perhaps a car, a telephone, all of the above. He knows not to call his parents, asked to loop them into this drama to get them arrested for aiding a fugitive. Stay woke. Perhaps this has been his lifelong goal, to become a TV story, a news story. Because you see, the goals you have are perhaps not the goals that another person has. You see, some people want to be infamous, and it doesn't really matter how they become infamous, just so that people talk about them, say their name, spin the web. And perhaps Brian Laundrie was this insecure vessel who was never going to be anybody, didn't put forth effort to be anybody. So this is his way of becoming infamous, killing a young woman, going on the run. And now we are talking about Brian Laundrie. Thank you for joining me. TheSun.com is the source. Hold up. Brian Laundrie is likely hiding with friends or a relative, says ex-fugitive who spent 2 years on the run. Seth Ferranti told The Sun, I think he is using a support system. Seth, who's on the U.S. Marshals Most Wanted list, added, I believe that his parents might be secondary in that support, that they are reaching him through a relative. However, there's no evidence to suggest that Brian is still in contact with his parents or that they are helping him evade capture. Seth added, if Laundrie is smart, he will be holed up, not going out. That said, he is pretty average looking dude. If he wears a hat and a mask, he could disguise himself. Ferranti, who spent 2 years on the run, is behind the new show White Boy, which is currently airing on Netflix, said Laundrie is likely pretty paranoid about being caught. He added, the scrutiny of this case that must be wearing pretty hard on him. I think he is holed up at a relative's or at a friend's. Ferranti added, most people get caught because they do not have resources. People with resources can hide out forever. Amen. Being close to resources is key, and I think he is close to home. When I was a fugitive, I was paranoid, Ferranti added. You think there's a cop around every corner, that everybody is looking for you, and there is much more scrutiny on him. Laundrie has been missing since September 13th after returning home from his cross-country trip without fiancée Gabby Petito on September 1st. That timeline was thrown into question on Tuesday after it was revealed his parents gave the incorrect date for when he allegedly disappeared into the Carlton Reserve. Chris and Roberta Laundrie had originally told cops they last saw him on September 14th. Ferranti added, to have any type of communication, he would need to have a burner phone. The world is weighing pretty heavy on him right now. Even if he is innocent, running is not a good look. It takes a toll. Gabby's body was found in Wyoming National Park on September 19th. Laundrie lawyer Stephen Bertolino told WFLA the Laundries were basing the date Brian left on their recollection of certain events. And what are those events, Mr. Bertolino? I'll wait. Ferranti, who disappeared between 1991 and 1993 after facing nonviolent drug trafficking charges, added, Laundrie does deserve his day in court. But if he did hurt that girl, he deserved everything that's coming to him and worse. Ferranti said he was actually relieved when got caught, adding, it takes its toll to constantly be someone you are not. After the first 6 months, I adapted back to life. I wanted to have friends. Isolation is hard. It is a mental burden, quote unquote. FBI hunt. Laundrie is wanted by the FBI because he allegedly took Gabby Petito's debit card and spent $1,000 to return to Florida without her on September 1st. Petito family lawyer Richard Stafford claimed on Tuesday that Brian stole her credit debit per warrant card. He used her credit card to get home and then ran from the police, quote unquote. Laundrie family lawyer Bertolino said in a statement when the warrant was issued that it focused on activities occurring after the death of Gabby Petito and not related to her actual demise. The FBI is focusing on locating Brian, and when that occurs, the specifics of the charges covered under the indictment will be addressed in the proper form, he added. Search goes on. Detectives continue to scour the Carlton Reserve with Dog, the bounty hunter, investigates the Fort DeSoto campground. It's reported that the Laundrie family stayed at the campsite on September 6, days after he returned to the state. Ferranti added, one slip up and he is pretty much done for. Police are waiting for that one big break. Once they have that, they are pretty much going to get you within days. I would say, turn yourself in, Brian, quote unquote. If you need verification for the said information that I've brought to you, thesun.com is the source. This is a man who was on the run for whatever reasons. He said it was nonviolent drug offenses, and his name is Seth Ferranti. And basically, he was saying that it is a job to stay on the run. He missed having friends, and that all it takes is one slip up, and Brian Laundrie will be caught. He says that you need resources to stay on the run, and perhaps Brian Laundrie is close to home. I will concur. I do believe he is close to home. I believe Brian Laundrie is being aided by a friend or family member. He is staying with someone. He is in the comforts of a home with, as I said, a roof, a door, a bed, a pillow, running water, hot water, refrigerator, stove. He is not out in the reserve. He is not on the Appalachian Trail. He is not out in the Pacific Northwest. He is not running around in a car, because all these said things would draw attention to oneself. Stay woke. You see, as this man says, it takes a lot to stay on the run. You will need resources unless you decide that you are going to live off the grid, which means you will be doing without things. You will possibly lose weight. You will have nothing. You will be homeless. You will stay homeless. And I do not think Brian Laundrie wants this for himself. I believe his parents aided him to find somewhere to stay, either alone or with family or friends. Brian Laundrie is not in a reserve. He's not in a swamp. He's not here near Tennessee or North Carolina. He is somewhere cushy, watching his life unfold on social media and the news. He is possibly commenting in the chat and on news channels, toying with people's emotions. But see, the thing that Brian Laundrie doesn't seem to understand is that most of us are free. Did you hear that, Mr. Laundrie? We are free. We're not on the run. The FBI, the U.S. Marshals, Sheriff's Department, and local police department are not looking for us. And that is the joy of being free. Come on, Queen. Let me tell you something. For those of you who really don't know anything about the life, it is a joy to wake up and not be worried about police knocking at your door, looking for you, asking people, have they seen you, trying to track you. Who wants that life? It is not a life I recommend for anybody that's above ground. It is a street person's life. False ideology. A person with no goals, no hope, no dreams, to be on the run, to be pillar to post, hiding out in people's houses, sheds, homeless camps, shelters, assumed identities. Who the hell wants that life? Not I, says the cat. But you see, there are people who stay in trouble and they don't mind going on the run. They don't mind being pillar to post. They don't mind using aliases. They don't mind lying to people. But one thing about lying is you have to tell another lie to cover the last lie. Come on, Queen. And eventually you forget about the last lie that you told. So perhaps you've been telling people you live in Toledo, Ohio, although you're from Maine. And at some point you're going to slip up and you're going to mention Maine in your conversation. And somebody's going to remember that. And they're going to say to themselves or to you, I thought you said you were from Ohio. Stay woke. You see, the mind is a very tricky organism. The mind will tell on itself. That's why it doesn't pay to lie, you see. Because you will trip up. You will be caught off guard. There will always be a nosy Parker. There will always be a Captain Save-A-Hole. Yeah, I said that. Because that's how most people are caught. The nosy neighbor, the nosy person on the job, the person who has to ask all the damn questions. They got to know everything about you. They got to know where you came from. They got to know where you're going. They got to know something. That's how most people are caught. It's that one nosy ass person that doesn't like the fact you didn't answer a question, you didn't give the information that they wanted, and now they start digging. Stay woke. Brian Laundrie is with somebody that he knows. I think you all should know that by now. You see, I'm a realist. I pay attention to details. I always have. I listen. My daddy taught me that. He said sometimes it's best to be quiet and just listen. You can learn a lot by listening. You see, that's the whole point of a story, is that you have to listen. You see, I tell my fans, those who actually follow my content and listen to what I have to say, I don't listen at rhetoric. I don't listen at gossip. I don't listen to Facebook, TikTok, not even YouTube, because that's not where the story lies. The story lies in what's been said from the beginning, because the truth is always at the beginning of the story. At the beginning of the story is two people traveled out west. They had altercations while they were on their journey, and one turns up dead, and the other one returned without the other one. Now, who needs TikTok, Facebook, YouTube for that said information? Nobody. Only somebody that likes conspiracy theories and a bunch of damn drama. That is not the queen. I use logic and basic data to form my opinion. And I know that if you were with somebody months on end, you were in their company, you've been seen in their company, you have a fight, one disappears, shows back, one shows back up without the other party, 9 times out of 10, the party that shows up is the culprit in the disappearance of the other party. Stay woke. What are the odds that it would be somebody else that got that person gone? This is a very bizarre story, a riveting story, a sad and pathetic story of two people who crossed paths but had no business being in each other's company. But we as humans, we are flawed. We make mistakes. We go in the lion's den knowing the lion has teeth. The lion has teeth. And yet we barter with the lion anyway, knowing he will surely bite. And why do we do this? Why do we make ourselves suffer so? People do it every day. We all do it. We're human. But you have to know when to fold. And that is the human's greatest mistake, his greatest and her greatest flaw. He does not know when to fold. And that is the reason why we have a lot of dead people in the cemetery. It's because somebody did not know when to fold, when to walk away, throw in a towel, bow out. As I told many of you the past couple of days, I am basically done with this story because it's going nowhere. It's going around and around and around. And I think it's time for people to wake up and realize Brian Laundrie isn't in the reserve. Why they keep focusing on that reserve, going in and out of there, circling around like a bunch of damn crows. Yeah, I said that. Give it a rest. He's not in there. He's not in there. Because as I said, by now he would know to vacate the premises. Why would he not? He can hear you. He can hear dogs. He can hear people talking. Why would he stay? Now, are we talking about a dead Brian Laundrie? then that'd be a whole nother subject. Because that's the only reason I could think they are circling that reserve is that they think he is actually out there and possibly he is not alive. Because as one has said, it's rough terrain, it's wet, and who's going to keep wading through water day for day? You're talking about 4 weeks. He wouldn't wade through water 2 days, let alone 4 weeks. So one would have to ask themselves, the photographs that you saw of someone that possibly could have been Mr. Laundrie, was that him? Was he out there in the beginning? What are we saying? And as I said, even if he went out there in the beginning, how long could he stay out there? It's not logical to think he would stay out there. Now, when you think of the Unabomber, he stayed out in the wilderness a very long time. But as I said, you'd have to have a mental preparation to do so. A mental preparation to do so. You see, camping and hiking by choice is one thing, but camping and hiking because you are on the run and you are evading the law is a different subject matter. They're not the same. They will never be the same. You're staying out there because you don't want to get caught. You don't want to go to jail. You don't want to face the consequences of your actions of killing a woman, stealing her money off her credit card. But like I told you, people steal every day. They don't go on the run. They plead guilty and pay the court costs and fines and restitution. So Brian Laundrie, I'm asking you, why not just call a spade and own that you stole the girl's money? Why would you go on the run? You see, you already let us know that you killed her, see? You let us know that before we even knew she was dead. You know all along you killed that girl. And that is the very reason why you went into this reserve, allegedly car parked there. I do believe your parents just parked it there. Conveniently picked it up 2 days later. And you went on about your merry way. I do believe they aided you on your merry way. I do not think you're in North Carolina. I do not think you're even in that reserve. Perhaps you are still in the state of Florida, or you're somewhere in the U.S. comfortable. You're not in the wilderness. You're not on a hiking trail. You're not in the mountains. You are somewhere where there's Wi-Fi, hot water, shower, front door, a roof, a bed, and covers. That's what I think. And I think it's pathetic that you would take that girl's life for whatever reason. Your parents would aid you and act as if it's no big deal. You all ignored the calls from the Petito family. You basically told on yourself that you did something to their child. Because the fact that you wouldn't speak, your parents wouldn't speak, shows complicity on all parties. Because if I don't know what my child has done, I have no reason to ignore his girlfriend's parents calling me. So what reason would I have to not answer the phone calls? I don't know what my child did, so why am I ignoring the girlfriend's parents? Why am I getting a lawyer? Why is that lawyer the mouthpiece when I haven't committed any crimes or offenses? My child is evading the law for theft only. No murder indictment as of yet, but yet I have an attorney. So you see, they all told on themselves. Brian let us know that he killed Gabby Petito. The parents are letting us know that they have aided him and know that he's committed a crime of theft and murder. And now they're playing this dirty game of running out there in the reserve with law enforcement, pretending to look for him and tell them where he hangs out around. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Take me out here. Take him out here and show where the sun hikes. What the hell are you talking about? It's the stupidest thing I ever heard. These people have aided this man to get away, and you're going to ask him to go out in the middle of nowhere and show you where their son hikes and played around. Does that make any logical sense? That makes no logical damn sense. Mr. Chris will show you any damn thing because he knows his son is not out there. Is Brian Laundrie keeping in contact with his parents? Probably not. It would be very dangerous to do so at this point. And the fact that the FBI said that they have been watching Brian Laundrie before he disappeared is a joke. They said that we only worked with the information that we had been given at that time. So, of course, they did not know that the woman was dead. So they're watching him, I guess, according to the fraud charge. But common sense would have told any logical agent, the girl has not surfaced. She's not called anyone. Her family has not reached her. And you allegedly are watching this guy for using her debit card, and she did not return with him, and he returned without her in her van. And somehow you missed him going into the reserve. Make this make sense. We watched him. Well, you didn't watch him close enough, because had you watched Brian Laundrie, you would have followed him to the reserve and watched him walk into the reserve or get into another car and be taken somewhere else. So obviously you weren't watching him. And that's even more baffling that you even repeated that. We were watching him before he went somewhere and disappeared. And we watched him according to the information that we had at that time. Well, you weren't thinking logically, and I would hope that the Florida Bureau of Investigation would have more common sense to put two and two together that a woman didn't return with her boyfriend. He has access to her car. He used her cards. Her parents have been trying to locate her, talk to her. She has not responded. And then you say, we worked with the information that we had at that time. Wow. There are no words. There are no words for that. Because you see, had you watched Brian Laundrie thoroughly, you would have followed him and you would have asked him, hey boy, where the hell you going? And you'd waited for Mr. Laundrie to respond. Oh, I'm just going into the reserve, take a hike. No, I think you might want to go back to the house and sit your ass down somewhere and watch a little cable TV. How about that? You can't make this stuff up. I'm tired of talking about Brian Laundrie and his sap-ass parents. I'm tired of looking at pictures of he and Gabby Petito. I'm sick of it. Because it's a joke at this point. All of it's a joke. The rumors, the rhetoric, the campsites, the this, the that. It has been told now. Nothing has panned from the search of the reserve pertaining to Brian Laundrie. Nothing pertaining to he being at the Appalachian Trail in North Carolina. So one would have to ask themselves, if nothing panned out in North Carolina, nothing has panned out in that said reserve 4 weeks in, then where the hell is Brian Laundrie? Ding, 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 ding. He's somewhere inside of a damn house. That's where he is. Anybody with sense would know Brian Laundrie is not in a damn reserve. You never caught him. You didn't see him. He'd have to keep moving around because, as I said, he can hear. He's not deaf. He can see. He's not blind. So he'd have to move around. So if he's not in the Appalachian Trail, on it, in it, he's not down there in Florida, then that means he's somewhere comfortable. And his parents had time to get him somewhere comfortable. And perhaps they crossed all their T's and dotted all their I's in getting their son gone to make sure nothing slipped up to trace their son anywhere or them as well. So I'm going to say this and I'm going to check out of here. Brian Laundrie, if you know what's good for you, turn yourself in. You need to pay the piper for killing Gabby Petito and stealing her money. And your parents need to go down alongside you for aiding you to hide. There's no way I think you did this on your own because you were making too much movement from the 17th up until the 17th of September. You've been a busy bee. Your parents have been busy as well, and they've aided you, and there's no way in hell I'm going to sit here and think that they didn't. And the fact that your mother can garden a garden shows me everything I need to know about who you are and what you come from. You are empty because your parents are empty. You are definitely the apple that fell from the tree. Nobody would give a damn about their damn grass or their lawn when they're being scrutinized for aiding a murderer. But you can worry about your grass, your garden, if indeed you are Satan's spawn as well. So perhaps we're talking about 3 demons. You are a demon seed because you came from 2 demons. And they don't care anything about Gabby Petito or her family or their image or reputation. And you obviously don't care about your life, preserving life, your family's life, their reputation, because you are selfish. You're a selfish, narcissistic, psychopathic bum. A1 bum. And you'll probably die a bum. This is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. If you are in a situation where you fear for your safety of your children, please bow out. Do not tell anyone that you're leaving. Just walk out the door and don't look back. There is help. There are resources. All you have to do is make the provisions to walk out. Because you see, self-preservation is first. You have to love self because you are the only one that can take care of self. Not your friends, not your family, your lover, husband, wife, whichsoever. You have to worry about yourself. Because in the end, you are your own best friend. Me, myself, and I. Love yourself because you are worthy. You do not want to end up a Gabby Petito story. You do not want to end up a story that I spun yesterday. 2 separate women out of Georgia, one with 5 kids shot up in a car, and another one thrown out on the side of a highway with 3 children. I do not know the circumstances of the one that was thrown out on the highway, but the one who had 5 children was dating a married man with the family, and he decided that her life was not valuable, she and the unborn child that she carried at 33 weeks. You see, you can become a news story if you do not take care of yourself and you do not make better decisions about the people that you slumber with. 90,000 people missing in the United States. And that's not counting the people who are not reported missing. Do you want to be one of the 90,000? You do not want to be one of the 90,000. Stay woke. Know the signs of a sadistic mind. If it does not feel right, it ain't right. If you are not comfortable, vacate the premises. Block, delete. Delete, block. I don't have a problem with doing it. Because self-preservation is first. Prayers for Gabby Petito. Prayers for Deshina Kyle. Prayers for Miss Ware, Miss Thomas, 2 women out of Georgia. Prayers for the other women who died by the hands of Mr. Dargan, serial killer, 25 years of age, murdered 3 women from the date site. You see, you don't know people. And you see the story every day of people thinking they know people, people aiding people, people upholding people, people coddling people, seeing the signs that they are not proper, they are not right. You see, a person will continue to be a demon seed so long as you aid them. You allow them to continue being who they are. You see, a person will try you to see what you're about. And I cannot go any farther with you than what you allow me to do. Always remember that. They will try you. That is the point. And they can go no farther than you allow them. And if they see they can't get anywhere, then they will find another victim. And hopefully that next victim will put them down. And perhaps maybe one day, this demon seed will say, I've tried so many, I think I'm going to stop here. Cut my losses. If you want to donate to the channel of Everyday Shenanigans, $ Big Angie 129 Cash App. It's in the description of this video. Please follow the content. If you are in a domestic violent situation, you want out, get out. There are resources to help you get a better life for yourself and if you also have children. But you have to want out. As they say in the street, ain't no halfway in. You are either in or out. Get out. Save yourself. There's a beautiful life out there waiting for you. And nobody can give it to you but you. You do not have to be a victim. You do not have to be a part of the madness. Save yourself and have a new life, a better life. You're deserving of a better life. And know that you are valuable and you are worthy. I want to thank you all for joining me. Please have a safe weekend. If you see something, say something. Prayers for the missing, prayers for the deceased. I will be back with more information pertaining to this storyline. And pray that nobody else ends up like Gabby Petito, Tashina Kyle. This isn't the way to end up at any age, whether you're a woman or a man. Life is for the living. This just ain't the way. And if you are a sick person having these type of homicidal thoughts, you need to also get yourself some help. Because killing a person is not the way either. It is not your right to take a life. And you need to get yourself some help. Because you also have some living to do yourself. And you should want to be a part of the living. Instead of being on the run and or in prison, jail for murder, and God forbid, 6 feet under because you crossed the wrong one and they snuffed you out. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great weekend. I'll be back with more commentary. This is Everyday Shenanigans.